Now let's get to graphing our parabolas. Well, first I like to think, well, what kind of shape is this going to make? Is it going to be a U or an N? Because it's positive out in front, right here, there's no negative sign there, it's a positive, I know that it's going to be a U shape. So there's my first thing. I know that it should look something like that once I've graphed it. Next thing, let's write down our A, B, and C. So I have A equals 1, B equals 4, and C equals 5. Next thing we want to do is find our x-coordinate of the vertex. We always start with our vertex as our point, and then we go 2 to the right, 2 to the left. So I have negative, and then B over 2 times A, which is 1. So I get negative 4 over positive 2 gives me negative 2 for my x-coordinate. So there's my x-coordinate of the vertex, negative 2. Now I need my y-coordinate. So let's plug in negative 2 for x. So when I do that, I have negative 2 squared, which is positive 4. And then positive 4 times negative 2 gives me negative 8 plus 5. So I have 4 minus 8 is negative 4 plus 5 gives me positive 1. So negative 2, 1 would be my vertex. Excellent. Now I need to pick some other points. This is where sometimes we have some confusion, but hopefully we will be A-okay because you guys are rock stars at math. Well, my vertex is negative 2, 1. So that's like my middle point. I'm going to pick 2 to the left and 2 to the right. So let's plot that point. Negative 2, positive 1 goes right here on the graph. Okay. Well, if I go 2 to the left, that would be negative 3 for x and negative 4 for x. So I have negative 3 and negative 4 for my x values. If I go 2 to the right, I have negative 1 and 0 for x. Negative 1 and 0. Again, I'm looking at my x-axis here as I go 2 to the left, negative 3, negative 4, 2 to the right, negative 1 and 0. How do I get my y values? I do it the same way as I did here. I'm going to plug in. Okay, when I plug in negative 1, why don't we go with negative 1? We'll go with this guy right down here. When I plug in negative 1, I have f of negative 1 equals negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1 plus 5. So I get 1 minus 4 plus 5. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Plus 5 is 2. And let's finish out the rest of those, okay? So why don't you calculate those and see if you get the same thing that I get. Here's what I got. I got 5 when I plugged in 0. And then I got the same type of thing. You'll see this, we'll say subsymmetry here. Repeating numbers here. We get 2 and then 5. We get 2 and 5. If you get the same thing on both sides, you know you did it right. You know you found the correct vertex and you plugged in your points correctly. It should always look like this as long as you're picking those same points that I have picked. So I have negative 2, positive 1 for my vertex. I have negative 1, positive 2 for my next point. And then I have 0, 5. And then over here I have very symmetrical looking graph. That's excellent. Connect our dots with a nice curvy line. This is not a V like an absolute value. If you do that, you're going to lose points. We got to have a nice curve to it. Excellent. Now, this question doesn't ask, but let's talk about it. When we talked about our axis of symmetry, pew, right there. Our axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2, just like the x-coordinate of our vertex. So, oh man, don't you worry, guys. We aren't going to forget about that axis of symmetry. We will bring that back.